you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
Hello?
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Yeah, all right. What's happening, everybody? We are back. It's the Thursday. Think of it, I'm GreenBean, hanging out here in the tropical state of Delaware, everybody. Delaware. And we are hanging out tonight for a change with the great Gunny, Gumby, down there in Houston, everybody, in Houston. And we have the great Dom C from Mobile, Alabama. Mobile, everybody. Look at us, huh? We're all over the joint this week. It's good to see everybody. Hello to everyone in the chat. Much to discuss. We have Senior Bowl stuff. We have new coach hirings. We have official coaches not coming back to the Jets, which should make us happy. We'll dig into a little bit of that. We'll start with Gunny. What's cooking, good looking? How you doing?
Hey, living the dream, guys. Living the dream. You know what I'm saying? You say you're in Delaware. I'm not sure if anybody else knows this, but Delaware is amongst one of the first states ever to be established in the United States. It's like
Not
Delaware,
the first states, Gunny.
Jersey.
It's the first state.
The first. Well, yeah, but like all of them were like 87 or something like that. It was like Delaware, Jersey, Pennsylvania. I forget the other ones, but yeah, just you said Delaware, and I was like, hey, fun fact for you guys. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. You know, I think we've had a pretty exciting week. New York Jets made some pretty big announcements in regards to what the leadership, what the front office is going to look like for the New York Jets. We've also added via subtraction, getting rid of some individuals that we were kind of really hoping were not going to be on the sidelines next season. And the fact there was some fear factor that they hadn't been fired already, there was some concern about that. But honestly, I think there's a lot to be excited about. Yeah, I'm pumped about tonight's show, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Dom C hanging out down there in Mobile, Alabama. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. Great week down here. It's always just a wonderful time. Tired, not going to lie. Been a lot of work. But I'm happy to be down here, dude. And happy to be here with you two fine-looking fellers.
Yeah. I'm thinking of shaving the beard. What do you think? I think I just
no. That's a negative, GreenBean.
I might just do it.
No, I think you can't. That's your trademark. That's literally your trademark. You're shaving the trademark. And who are you? Who's GreenBean? I think people start to, you know what I'm saying, lose touch. I think you need to keep that beautiful beard just the way it is.
Then I could just show up and hang out. Nobody will know.
Yeah, that's facts. Because I still don't believe that picture you showed us of you without the beard is actually you. I still don't believe it.
Right. It's weird. I don't know. I feel like I want to shave it off. We'll see, everybody. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so Dom's down there in Mobile. You know, I was with Jake earlier, and he asked me if Dom C was getting sunburned like poor Jeremy. Jeremy got cooked. Dom, how's it been down there?
Left side, I got the Mobile burn, man. The left side of your face, because you're sitting in the bleachers, you know, facing the field this way, and the sun just rises and just sits right here. So, you know at the airport who's been at the Senior Bowl or not, because from this point to their face is all beet red.
That's great. So real quick, how's it been down there? You know, what's going on? You know, this is your third consecutive year, if I have that right.
It is.
You're moving around with a little bit more ease now, huh? What's the experience been like this year?
It's been great, man. It gets better and better every year. Like I said, I'm a little bit more confident with what I'm doing. I'm a little bit. I got a much deeper knowledge and understanding of, you know, my evaluation process and who I like and who I don't, and you know, not really concerned with so much of the buzz of everyone else. Just really trusting my eyes and coming down here and seeing if what I see on tape is happening in front of me. You know, in fairness, you know, the tape always rules. But yeah, it's been great, man. It's been a phenomenal week. Lots of good content and lots of good information, a lot of good buzz, a lot of good noise coming down here in Jets world, to be honest, if we're being honest. We're stuck as, the butt of the joke a lot of the times. And everyone that I'm connected with or met or talked to that aren't in our Jets circle, they see a lot of positive things happening here for the Jets. I couldn't tell you how many people I talked to that said, we're real happy about the AG hiring, the news about Engstrand. A lot of people in the Detroit community are saying that's, it's going to be great if it happens. And then the buzz of the prospects. Got some intel on. Obviously the guys I talked to, I didn't film all of our conversations. I talked to a lot of them more in depth. Which ones have met with the Jets, really met with the Jets, not just had a cup of coffee. So there's all that good stuff, man. It's a fabulous week, man. This is this is comfort for me, and I'm doing everything I can to be the best in our community. I want to give the Jets community, I want to be that go-to guy that if you got questions and draft and prospects, I want them to think, hey, let me reach out, or what does Dom say, or something like that. That's what I'm looking for here.
Well, that'd be great if everybody did it. They would just join me. I've been doing that for 3 years now. Wait, what does Dom say? What does Dom think about this guy? So that's super cool, man. Now, Gunny, Dom mentioned Tanner Engstrand. If you don't know who that is, everybody, he is has risen to the top candidate for the Jets offensive coordinator position, the passing game coordinator for the Detroit Lions. What do you think the holdup is, Gunny? I mean, we had all kinds of names. We had Mark Brunell. We had, Kubiak. We had all kinds of guys we were talking about. But this Tanner Engstrand has popped up, and now we even hired their tight ends coach from the Lions
to be our new O-line coach, yeah.
To be our O-line coach, which is interesting, and we could talk about that. But
to that point, I think people got to pump the brakes there because he was an O-line coach also. He has that experience in him. You know what I mean? So he goes back and forth, man.
Well, and they're symbiotic. I mean, that's kind of, they work in concert. The tight ends with the offensive line. I mean, it's almost an extension of the unit.
Correct.
In many respects. So I do get it. But Gunny, what do you think the holdup is? You think it's because maybe we're not going to get them, or what do you see?
I think it's done, if I'm being honest, man. I think you don't make the move on starting to make decisions on the offensive line, like the offensive line coach, without your OC in the building, right? That's going to be a decision where you want him to be a part of that conversation. You're talking about they're having conversations with Aaron Rodgers already. I think that's something else that you want your OC to be a part of. If I'm being honest, man, I think Tanner is the guy. Very much like how the majority of us called Steve Wilks, a week ago, that he was going to be the defensive coordinator for the Jets. The holdup to me is it's questionable, right? I don't think we're going to lose him to a guy like a Ben Johnson. There were some concerns that if he might follow Ben Johnson to the Chicago Bears, but this is a guy you're offering him an opportunity to actually call plays and design the offense around his vision. If you go work for Ben Johnson, you go work for Liam Cohen, you're not doing that. Both of them have already decided that they're going to be the play callers for the offense. So a lot of people were kind of concerned about losing out on some of these guys that we're excited about because of the chance of them playing with Liam Cohen or with a Johnson. But when they've already stated that they're going to be the play callers, I think our position becomes a little bit more like, you know what, I can go there and legitimately be the offensive coordinator, call the plays, which is going to potentially accelerate their ability to maybe be a head coach one day. Not everybody wants to be in the shadows of a play call. Like we've seen Andy Reid doesn't get a lot of his OC's opportunities. So I think it's done. Maybe it's over money. Maybe if it's over input in regards to if they're going to keep Rodgers or not. I think some of that might be in the air as well. But I think they've identified him as being the guy, and I'm excited about him being the guy. I think we all as Jets fans should be excited about him being the guy. I think this gets announced here within the next couple of days. I don't think it's that they're going to miss out on him now because they're either working on the contract or there's some details behind the scenes about the whole Rodgers situation that they're trying to figure out. But no, I think it's a done deal. It's just a matter of when before he's announced.
Dom, you see it the same way? You think it? That was a good one too. You brought up. We kind of knew Steve Wilks. I mean, his Wikipedia page was changed, and it still took 5 days. And then now we get the official announcement. So do you see it the same way, Dom? You think it's kind of the same thing? Tanner's the guy?
I think all avenues are pointing that way. Now, I do know, and again, I've been down here for a week, and, excuse me, Jets fans, but, if GreenBean's been down here, like, this is a whole different focus. Like, like the normal Jets vibe is kind of out the window, and I've been focusing here. So I don't even know if they've interviewed anyone for the OC job. I know that they still have to, whether they've done it or not yet, they still have to complete the Rooney Rule and interview for a coordinator, one minority candidate, whether that's done or not. I have no idea. It's probably just schematics that they're working through. Somebody did just put in the chat that they interviewed Davis Webb today. I think, and it's funny because, with all the hoopla around Engstrand, I love Davis Webb, man. I think Davis Webb would be a phenomenal. I think he's one of those up and coming minds that you can kind of steal away from Sean Payton and get going there. So I'd love to have both of them on the board, and maybe they're just not set on Engstrom yet. I don't know.
Davis Webb he played for the Jets for a minute.
Did he? I don't remember that. I
believe he. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He was, let me make sure here. Let me see. Jets 2018 for the New York Jets. And he was like the darling of the Giants for a minute. And then they cut him. We grabbed him right away, and Jets fans went right to it. Oh, he's the golden nugget. That's what he's going to be. So, who knows? That's an interesting name. And then, did Nick Cayley ever get hired anywhere, or is he staying? What's
not yet? The last I heard, and Gunny's can probably tell you this more so. Like I said, I've been in a bubble for a week. I heard that he was interviewing for the Texans job.
Yep.
That's the only kind of hit that I've heard around his name outside of the Jets.
Yeah, and there's some connective tissue there. So, I mean, I don't know. Like Gunny said, though, if you want to be make a name for yourself, going and being an OC for somebody, a head coach that's calling the plays, that can be a chink in the armor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what do we feel about Steve Wilks, Gunny? I mean, it's official. He's our guy.
Yeah.
The very well-traveled fella. What's your overall feeling?
Yeah, so Steve Wilks is an intriguing character, right? Again, this is the guy who's seen success, as an interim head coach. He's seen success as a defensive coordinator. He's always had no issue getting a job in the NFL. The problem is he seems to get a lot of jobs. Like, he seems to bounce around quite a bit. Yeah. And you would look at it and you would think to yourself, like, man, that gives me a vibe of instability. That gives me a vibe of some guy who's looking for the next best thing. It seems like his last stop, again, being with the 49ers, a lot of that was pretty much him and Shanahan not being on the same page. A guy, again, who coached a really good defense in his last year, year before last, with the 49ers. And we saw how the defense kind of fell apart last season without him. They got worse without him being there as a defensive coordinator. I think we all love to see that maybe he was more of a catalyst in regards to why they were so good. But yeah, I think he averaged the top 5 defense overall with the 49ers that year. They went to the Super Bowl the year before last. Again, getting fired, not because of his performance as DC, but it seemed like that was more of an internal beef between him and Shanahan. They weren't on the same page, and Shanahan wants things done a specific way. Wilks, again, big personality guy, right? Been in the league for a long time. He kind of has a vision as well of what a good defense looks like. I'm excited for it. And I think it's also an intriguing component because you're bringing in a defensive coordinator with a lot of experience. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's seen a lot of different ways to make a defense work in the NFL level. He's got some head coaching experience. You bring him along with your rookie head coach. Maybe they can go ahead and bounce some ideas off of each other. I think bringing in Steve Wilks is a value add definitively. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think he's going to go ahead and make us the number 1 defense in football, but I do believe our defense is not going to be undisciplined. I do believe our defense is still going to be a good defense. I think he can go ahead and potentially bring us into the top 10 as a defensive coordinator, but you kind of have an idea of what to expect from him, which I think in this stage where you've got the rookie GM, you've got the rookie head coach, you've got some rookie coordinators coming, having that level of stability, at least on that defensive side, kind of like the bread and butter of what's been working for the Jets for the last several years, is a good thing. Not to mention he can go ahead and be a sounding board for Aaron Glenn when it comes to some, head coaching, processes.
Yeah. What do you think about? Do you have any strong thoughts one way or the other about Wilks, Dom? You think it's just a safe hire? I mean, that's what I've heard a couple people say. It's kind of safe, not, low ceiling, high floor kind of a thing. What's your take on Wilks?
I'm happy with it. Like people either love it or they hate it, just like anything. Like, and the vibe this day in this current situation is it's a lot easier to spit piss and vinegar about the Jets, anything they do, they changed the logo. Wow, they hired this star, now this is the coach. We've hired Jesus Christ himself as coach. Rawr. So
what do you know about football?
Yeah, I think it's just that's the vibe going on now. Listen, Wilks might be a little bit of a safe hire, but at least think this out now. Think this out with me. At least with another, we've entered yet another situation with a first-time head coach who was a defense coordinator, but at least they're setting him up not to fail in the sense that they're bringing some experience in. They're bringing some experience in the room. They're going to have, like Gunny said, they're going to have that sounding board. Steve Wilks' defense, 5 of the 6 years that he was a defensive coordinator, were a top 6 run defense unit and a top 7 total yards gained unit. So his defenses, have been pretty good. Yep. And I love the idea that it's different. Now I don't know if it's going to be Steve Wilks running Aaron Glenn's scheme. I don't know if it's going to be a conglomerate of both of them. But Steve Wilks, has a much more aggressive style of coaching defense than we saw with the bend and don't break and just don't let up chunk plays defense that we saw with Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich. Teams do whatever they want until they get to the 10-yard line and then they buckle down. This is different. You're going to see a lot more man coverage. You're going to see all those people who are against Sauce, because he's just his own corner. Well, you're going to see him press. You're going to see him press up against them. You're going to see him trail and follow wide receiver ones a lot more. You're going to see a lot more disguised pressure. Steve Wilks, the last year in Carolina, had a 46% blitz rate, and he brings those blitzes differently. He'll blitz safeties, he'll blitz corners, he'll do zone dogs where he sends 4 guys from one side, drop defensive linemen off. There's a lot of pre-snap confusion and post-snap changes in his repertoire. So I'm happy to see that. I'm happy for that change. So, there could have been a lot worse hires for me than Steve Wilks.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. I think, like you said too, I mean, when things go sour, change is always welcome, right? So you got to be careful about what kind of change it is. But I think aggression is something that I want to see. Creating pressure is something else that I want to see a bit more of. And I got to be honest, I got to tell you, one of my rubs over the past 4 years, really 6 years, has been the lack of importance placed on the safety position. I love really good safety play, and it's vitally important. I think our lack of turnovers is one of the derivatives of that. Having a ball hawking safety, somebody that can kind of, roam the field back there and has a nose for the ball and can make big plays is something that we didn't see a lot of. We had a few moments of it, like the one game where Whitehead had 3 interceptions and then he ended the year with 3 interceptions, that kind of thing. It's a great game, but I think it's something I'm really looking forward to seeing. I like the hire. I think it's good. And like you guys both mentioned, the experience for a first-time defensive coordinator, head coach. I think it's wise to bring that in so he can feel confident that he doesn't have to lean into the one area that he does have expertise in and kind of go back to his comfort zone. It's good. Somebody that's been doing it for a long time, they got it. I think that's going to be beneficial for us. E-Boogie checking in for Dom. What's up, E-Boogie? He says, any ball hawking defensive backs and any 350-pound defensive tackles that stood out to you there in the Senior Bowl?
Listen, the ball hawking defensive backs, these practices are real weird. Like, truth be told, the quarterbacks don't let it loose, so you really don't get to see the safeties. I think the safeties and the running backs are the two positional groups that are really don't benefit or get the same hype that the other positional groups do. So I can't really answer that. I mean, there were some good safeties down here. There's a kid I really I liked him a lot prior. I liked his film, and I thought he came in tip-top shape, athletic as could be. I love the way he moved. The kid out of Virginia, Jonas Sanker. I think he has a chance to be a really good player in the league. Again, mid-round draft pick. So when we're talking safeties, there's him. There's another. There's going to be guys that weren't down here in Mobile that are much more of that. Ed Reed type. True center field types like the Xavier Watts from Notre Dame and so on and so forth. But out of the guys here, like I really like Jonas Sanker, Billy Bowman Jr. out of Oklahoma is another guy that he was a little bit up and down, but today he really showed out. Had a couple nice pass breakups. Trying to think, 350-pound defensive lineman.
Yeah,
Jamari Caldwell. There was tons of so many good defensive linemen down here, guys. But when you're talking about that big number, those real big guys, those true nose tackles, Jamari Caldwell or Oregon probably is the one that fits the bill, and he moves really well for a guy pushing 340 pounds.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think we're going to see both a safety and a defensive tackle of the larger persuasion brought in via the draft this year. I'm pretty confident that we're going to see it. So just brace yourself, E-Boogie. It's coming. Before we get too far, I want to Dano has a comment that brings us to a very important announcement, everybody, that it is time to remind you of the greatest deal on Jets YouTube or anywhere for that matter. The great BetUS. Let me uncover Gunny's face there. Oh, no, it's good. The great BetUS offering you guys a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000, everybody. All you have to do is use the promo code YouTube150 when you sign up for BetUS, America's favorite sports book. And that's the thing. It's not just the one bonus. It also gets you two additional bonuses of 125% on your deposits up to $2,000. So go to BetUS. We got the Super Bowl coming up, everybody. Place your wagers. You know who's going to win, right? Everybody knows who's going to win. So you might as well make some money on it. I'm not going to say because I don't want to give financial advice. But BetUS is the place to do it. And we thank BetUS for hanging out with us. And like Dano said, BetUS owns Jet YouTube. Well, they're not only here, everybody. They're all over the joint, Dano. So let's see. Where was the other one? Hennessy had a comment here. I'm just happy we have an experienced coach around. Well, what do you think? Well, talking about experience, let's use this. The Aaron Rodgers discussion is happening right now. Aaron Rodgers is as experienced as they come, and when we first traded for him, we all had this idea, all the experience he's going to bring is going to be great for this guy, that guy, and all. It hasn't really worked out that way. As a matter of fact, it seems like it might be a rub in some instances, maybe more than that Hall of Fame, attitude, Super Bowl attitude. We're going to have probably a rookie offensive coordinator, Gunny. Do you see it working if they decide, hey, we'd like to keep Aaron Rodgers? Maybe in the beginning he'll be fine or something. You see maybe As it goes on, Aaron Rodgers will impose his will on the new offensive coordinator. What do you think would happen there? Do you think it will happen? What's your take?
So I've been actually up and down with the Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. We got to keep them aspect, right? Looking at the potential cost of the team, not just in terms of what they could do in terms of impacting the culture shift of the locker room. I'm not saying it would be negative or whatnot, but I feel like those guys are very polarizing figures. It could make things a little bit more difficult for the rookie head coach, for the rookie GM, for the rookie offensive coordinator, especially since both of those guys are on the offensive side of the football. But I look at it this way. I feel like Aaron Glenn, I think ultimately Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback. I do. I think he's going to be the quarterback for the 2025 season. I do believe they're going to go ahead and bring Devontae Adams back as well, hopefully on some team-friendly deals that allows us flexibility over the next several years because we've got some big contracts coming up for some players that I really want to make sure we keep. I think what's going to happen is this, though. I think Aaron Glenn is going to make it very, very clear to Aaron Rodgers that this is his team. He's the new Aaron in town. It's his team. They want him to be a part of what makes this team great. That he could potentially be the reason we start winning early, establishing the culture of winning by getting him into the building, and we start winning next year. Very feasible. They did it with Jared Goff. They didn't go with a rookie rookie quarterback, with the Lions. They traded for Jared Goff. They tweaked some things, and they got him on the right track. And then he's been a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback for them the last several years. I think in the sense of an Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be all about how he takes that conversation whenever he's in the room with Aaron Glenn, with Mogi, with the offensive coordinator. We're not running your offense anymore. You're going to be running our offense. The offense you've been comfortable in, it's archaic. It's just not going to work at this level. I think his response is going to be key. And I think he's going to tell them, yes, I'm willing to go ahead and do what it takes to go ahead and be the quarterback for the New York Jets. I think he'll take a pay cut to be the New York Jets quarterback for next season. I think he's going to understand that he's going to be a bridge quarterback. My thing is, it's Aaron Rodgers. And at the end of the day, the idea of him thinking to himself, hey, I'm Aaron Rodgers, might happen a couple of times this season. I think Aaron Glenn will bench him. I do. I believe Aaron Glenn will be quick to bench Aaron Rodgers, even if it's just to make an example out of him. I think Aaron Glenn's biggest focal point right now is to make sure the New York Jets has a cultural shift of winning, where we got to be in lockstep as a unit, as a team to win. No individuals on this roster. I got that vibe from his press conference. And I think if Aaron Rodgers says all the right things to be here next season and starts to go ahead and slip next year, start pointing fingers at this person or that person, I think Aaron Glenn will bench him. Sometimes you got to shoot a hostage. And if that hostage happens to be Aaron Rodgers, that'll set the tone real quick in that locker room that nobody's above it. So I do believe Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback. I do believe Aaron Glenn, if necessary, will use Aaron Rodgers as an example if Aaron Rodgers starts to color outside of the line. So yeah, at this point, if I'm being honest, I think I've gotten to the point now where I would be 100% okay with the Jets letting go of Aaron Rodgers, letting go of Devontae Adams, bringing in Tez as that wide receiver with that 7th overall pick. You also bring in a guy like Justin Fields. You have Tyrod Taylor. You have Jordan Travis in the building. Let those guys compete. It'll suck next year. But then in 2026, that quarterback class looks really, really good. And then you can start building from there. So I've gotten to the point where I'm comfortable with either direction the Jets take. But ultimately, I do believe Aaron Rodgers is the guy, but I do believe he'll be on a short leash.
Sometimes you got to shoot a hostage, he said, Dom. Sometimes you just got to grab somebody.
Just got to do it.
You got to. Everybody needs to shut up, and you're not shutting up. So this has got to happen.
Yep.
And everybody goes, okay. We're sorry. I was just watching Casino. There was a scene where Joe Pesci was trying to get this guy to give him a name, and they beat him up for 2 days, and then they put his head in a vice, and he wouldn't say anything, and then they pop his eye out, and he gives him a name, and he goes, you made us squeeze your eye out of your head before you gave a damn name? Like, come on, you should have just gave us the name. Anyway, sometimes you got to do it. Dom, what's your thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers first-time offensive coordinator thing? How do you see it?
I don't know, man. I don't think my gut feeling innate says that it's a match made in hell. Trying to force feed Aaron Rodgers to learn a new system and kind of give up all the control that he's had here in New York. that he had in Green Bay, which he was, resistant about doing in Green Bay and changing schemes and, and kind of rolling over, if you will, from what he wanted to do, just doesn't seem like it's going to work. I don't know. I know the stock answer that everyone's going to say is, well, who else do you want to roll out there? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. If you're asking me, my gut feeling is that it's, I would do everything in my power to separate and move on. Whether or not they do that, I don't know. My gut tells me that it's not anything that's going to work out well. Listen, I could see a bad week or a bad start or a bad stretch happen, and Aaron Rodgers passively aggressively starts saying, well, Tanner Engstrom wanted Garrett to run down the red line, and he's not there. And I don't know. I'm just running the plays that's being called, and listen. If you have questions about why I'm throwing 4 interceptions, ask the 29-year-old whiz kid Engstrom. I can see that stuff happening, and it kind of makes my butthole pucker a little bit. I don't like it.
Yeah, I know.
And I think just to add to that, I think that's why I think I've convinced myself in this last couple of weeks that the Jets are probably better off without Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say how, but I said it earlier in the show is sometimes you got to go ahead and add via subtraction. It's addition via subtraction. And yes, Rodgers might give us the best chance or opportunity this coming season to potentially see success, but he can also be the reason why he makes this minor rebuild take a little longer than necessary. And I don't know if I'm willing to do it, especially when you can go ahead and get a quality wide receiver to go ahead and be on the other side of Garrett Wilson. Maybe have some fun next year, and let's just see what Justin Fields is going to – just have some fun with it next year. Let's just see what happens, and then you can get your guy potentially in the following season. So it's crazy to think because I've been team keep Aaron Rodgers this whole time, but after bringing in Aaron Glenn, seeing him do that press conference, seeing the staff he's building, I'm like, damn, okay, I can see this team getting it figured out sooner than later. Aaron Rodgers remains the biggest freaking but what if, right? He comes in and throws, some stones at this glass house. So it's crazy to say this, man, but if they decided we're done with Aaron Rodgers, I'm actually at this stage okay with it, which I didn't think I'd be saying when the offseason kicked off.
Yeah, I know. And I go back and forth myself, but I think it's a really great point. It's like the idea of Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, kind of pushing reset, plugging a couple holes. You don't have Tyron Smith. He was a big whiff. Some other things, it's like you might be able to do it. We have a lot of talent. But at the same time, I think the potential for disaster is also present. And you don't want the beginning of a new era to be tainted with that. We just got to get rid of this guy, and then we'll, you know what I mean? You don't want it to start that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's big decision. Gunny, this one's for you. E-Boogie wants to know if you see Scotty Montgomery as the new quarterback coach.
Scotty Montgomery. So so Scotty Montgomery, I think right now is the running backs coach and assistant head coach for the Lions, right?
Yeah.
Dude is fun, man. Like he did a press conference, I think, a couple weeks back, and I heard him talk, and I'm like, all right, this is the kind of guy he kind of demands a presence when he starts to talk. 18 years in the NFL, though. I feel like he's gonna hold on more so to that assistant head coach role, unless we were to offer him something like that. Now, if you're talking about like would he come be the quarterback's coach and the assistant head coach for the Jets, maybe I see that happening. I think right now with the Lions, he's got a good thing coming. And he actually spoke about, how the Lions are home and whatnot. And he was excited about being back. I would love it personally. I think that's another dynamic. You bring in somebody that was a part of that rebuild in Detroit that made that team relevant. You bring him into the building. I'm all about it. I want this team to go ahead and get an infusion of that Detroit Lions magic. But I like Scotty Montgomery, man, but I don't see him coming in to be our quarterback's coach when currently right now he's the assistant head coach and running backs coach for the Detroit Lions. I think he has a pretty good gig over there. So I don't see that happening, unfortunately, but I would not be opposed.
I'm actually with you. I think it's a tough sell. Like it's basically a lateral move.
It is. Yep.
Not a promotion. So why would he do it? He's already there. They're already winning. You know what I mean? Like they have a great culture. They have a great thing going there. Like why leave to come here?
to come
You know what I
start
mean?
a whole new build again.
Right. And without, you don't even know where the bathroom is. And it's not even a promotion. Our buddy Connor's checking in. He says,
Connor.
3 votes, great work. Judkins is my sleeper. What do you think of that, Tom? You think the Jets are going to be plucking another running back? Maybe we don't like the 3 guys we have. Aaron Glenn's like, no, they're not. I don't love these guys. I want Judkins. What do you think of him?
I think it's great. I don't know, and this is no shade thrown at Connor. I don't know how much of a sleeper he is. I think he's right up there in the top echelon of this very, very deep and talented running back group. I think he's more of an early down guy. He is an absolute animal in terms of pass protection, so I think he'll find a role in the NFL pretty easily. Curious to see if he's going to have that, that top tier athleticism, or he's going to play with that top tier athleticism, or have that breakaway speed that most workhorse running backs need. But yeah, he's a good player. I mean, he'll be off the board, within the first, I'd say 90 picks, 75, 90 picks.
So Connor's hitching his horse to that wagon. All right, man. Well, good. Hey, start early like this, Connor. You could start to set yourself up. When guys like me, I was your age one time and I was doing this and I didn't write anything down. I didn't say it publicly. Nobody believes me that I had it. I hit them all. I hit all my draft picks. Nobody cares. Nobody listens. I was right all the time, Connor. Nobody cares. So you got to write it down, buddy. Make sure that everybody remembers how right you were all the time. Unless you're wrong, in which case, you got to rethink this. Bearded checking in. Dom, who's your biggest surprise performer so far? That's a great question. Someone that has just amazed you and come out of nowhere. Anybody's shooting up like a rocket for you, Dom?
Yeah, there was a bunch, but I think the one player, there's always a couple guys that just get that buzz that they're just dominant from the start, and you start to hear the chatter and so on and so forth. And I think it's this year coming out of the FCS, offensive lineman Gray Zabel, played at North Dakota State, where Isaiah Davis came from, if I'm not mistaken. Or Trey Lance or Christian Watson, one of those. He came from North Dakota State. I don't remember if Isaiah Davis was North Dakota or South Dakota. The chat can correct me. However, he was just absolutely dominant. He was a tackle. He was a tackle there. He came in and he played all 5 offensive line positions, dominated at all of them. Played with tenacity. Has size, has NFL size, NFL length. It was rarely beat in the 1v1s, which is like the bread and butter down here. So he's a guy that I think probably did the best for himself and his stock this week. Elijah Arroyo, the tight end from Miami, was a guy. What's up, Team Bean? Arroyo was a guy that was.
Hey, what's up, Team Bean?
Wait, hold on real quick. Does he look metal, Dom?
He does, man. He does. I love that beard, dude. You almost reach your dad status.
I got a little while longer, right?
He was just rehearsing. That's what we're doing in Delaware. My son's got he's my buddy though too. He's got a gig, his first ever gig as a drummer in Maryland is on Saturday night. So we're hanging out. They took band pics today, so he looks band picky, doesn't he?
No, that's tomorrow.
Oh, that's tomorrow.
But hey,
you got to wear the King Diamond shirt tomorrow, then too.
Yeah, dude. So, they did one song. They're like, all right, we want to offer you the band.
Oh, he got the job. He's like an intern.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, there you go. See, congrats.
Thank you.
What I'm talking about.
Yeah, I gave him the car and everything today.
Yeah,
I sat here alone. Nothing.
They want me to stay over tomorrow night because they're
no.
What?
Get out of here. We'll talk later. I'm not doing that now. Get out of here.
All right.
He's trying to put you on the spot in front of the masses.
I'm talking about it.
Night sleep over my friend's house. Do drugs, smoke pot. That's what they want to do. Get out of here. Anyway, Dom, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it's all good, man. Like I said, Gray Zabel. I think the tight end out of Miami, Elijah Arroyo, he was dominant. He was head and shoulders the best tight end in the group, in a really good class down there. I thought he was very, very good. Small school cornerback Upton Stout out of Western Kentucky was another guy, super sticky, making plays left and right. Those are just three guys. There was a ton of them that impressed. Those are three guys off the top of my head that really stuck out for me.
All right, so there you go, Bearded. It's fun. The Senior Bowl's fun for that stuff too. I'll tell you, you're mentioning the defensive back. You're mentioning the defensive backs and all. It's tough with the drills. I'll tell you, one batch of drills that you really can get a good look though is with the offensive and defensive linemen.
Oh,
that is some fun stuff, is it not?
Listen, that's why people come down, right? You come down to see the offensive lineman, defensive lineman go on in the one-on-one drills. And, for those of you who haven't been there, I know GreenBean has, it is the cream of the crop. Everyone just circles around them. Every scout, every big analyst, the who's who just forms a big circle in one of the end zones, and they line the guys up and they just go mano a mano, 1-versus-1, the rusher against the lineman, interior, outside edge rushers. It's just, that's what people are down there to see, for sure.
Yeah, it's the best, man. Excuse me. Any tackles that are kind of, looking like they might be worth a damn, or
Oh yeah, there was a bunch.
Guy that Ryan likes. What's his name again?
Ozzie Trapillo. Was really, really good. 6'7.5". So he's going to have tall player problems, the leverage stuff, but showed power, won a lot. Most of the reps that he had one-on-one against the big dogs. He's a guy that, as I think this tackle class as a whole is very weird, but he's a guy that for sure will stick at tackle. Josh Connerly Jr. out of Oregon's another guy. He went viral for the one rep. I'm sure you guys saw it when Mike Green, the edge from Marshall, just literally ran right through his chest and knocked him 4 yards back on his ass. But outside of that, everything that he did was pinpoint, was accurate, was technically sound, and matched the film that he put up this year. So I thought Connerly was, outside of that one rep, was really, really good. He's a guy that I got to talk to in depth as well, and we talked about that rep. And he's like, listen, he told me, he's like, listen, he's a humble kid. He's like, I go out there trying to dominate every single rep. But the reality is that these guys playing on the field are just as good as me. So I'm not going to win every single one of them. He's like, but I'm also not going to dwell on it. I gotta learn from it. I got to get 1% better, and I got to keep it moving. Exactly what he said. And he did. So, there's another guy who I've loved for months. It's funny because before we got down here, Jeremy and I last week kind of got together and he wanted to break down some lineman film. So we went over one of my favorite players in the entire class. His name's Miles Frazier. He's a guard from LSU. And to me, 9-10 games of his were just absolutely dominant. Just a really, really high end player. He's got a second round grade on me. He's in the top 40 in my class, top 50 in my class, where everyone else kind of said, he's a late day 3 guy. He's slow, this, that, and the other thing. Well, he came out here and just fucking dominated. Just dominated. So much so that today, as by the request of the NFL, they pushed him outside the tackle, which he's never played. And guess what? He dominated there too. He's just a guy that's a really, really good football player. So, there's some tackles. I don't know if it's a position that we necessarily have to reach at 7, because I don't think that's not where the sweet spot is. The value that you're going to get at 7 ain't that much higher than someone you're going to get in the second and third round in this class. Yeah,
and you got to be smart like that. Hopefully this Muji guy is. We don't have to watch him fuck around for 3 years before he gets it right. That's the rub with the Rook GM, man. They got the keys. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of control, this fella. Although Woody's, Woody's still the boss. Woody is like, I changed the rules again. Aaron Glenn or Mooj are they're the same, and I'm the boss. I'm the GM. So this guy. What about it's Tez? I think he's talking about Tez Johnson.
Yes.
Tez Johnson. How's he look? I mean, what do you think, Dom?
Absolutely uncoverable this week.
Really?
You were down there for the Tank Dell year, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, Tank Dell, but who was the guy? No, before him. Little fella. What was his name? I almost had it. You kept, remember in the interview you kept calling him the wrong name?
Oh yeah, Trey Tucker.
Yeah.
And I kept calling him Trey Turner. Yeah. Yeah. But so Tez Johnson was absolutely uncoverable. I mean, the way this guy moves is different. He got 5, 6, 10 yards of separation on every single route that he ran. The problem with Johnson, where he's going to struggle, man, he weighed in his official weigh-in. It's 156 pounds.
Oh,
1 percentile in weight at 5'9.5". So,
oh man, that's light.
He's a smaller version of Tank Dell, and Tank Dell was only 171 pounds. Think about that. You guys have all seen Tank Dell.
Yeah,
this guy was 15 pounds less than Tank Dell.
He's faster than Tank Dell, though, isn't he?
Yes. And fun fact about Tez Johnson, I just found this out today from, I guess it was common knowledge, I didn't know. He's adopted. He was adopted. His parents had some some issues. I think his dad was in jail. His mother had some problems that she had to kind of, he got adopted by his football coach and lived with their family. You know who that was?
Who?
Bo Nix.
Oh, really?
Bo Nix's family adopted Tez Johnson. I thought that was pretty neat.
What?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know where he's going. He's going to the Broncos in the first round.
Yeah,
wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Holy shit.
It's I guess it's a little fun fact that I didn't know, but Dylan Terraman from Jetnation, who I was down here with, also had made mention. He said, yeah, they put something out about that on ESPN not too long ago. I must have missed it.
Did Dylan stay in the house?
He did.
Nice. You, him, and Jeremy?
Me, him, and Jeremy.
How much pizza?
No, there wasn't a lot. Dylan kind of did his own thing. Dylan, he's a little bit younger. He made sure that he rubbed elbows and networked downtown at all the bars at night.
Yeah.
So he, and me and Jeremy, the old men that we were, kind of stayed home. Jeremy didn't eat much pizza. A couple frozen pizzas. What
was Jeremy's? You said was he? You didn't let him stop at Buc-ee's, but what did he do?
We went out today, and he really was pushing. He did Uber Eats in Crystal Burger, which I don't know. I've never had Crystal Burger. I don't know what it is. He explained it as like the redheaded stepchild of White Castle.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. That's exactly what it is.
White Castle wannabe. Uh-huh.
Yep.
And we
Great
did go out. We went out and found a Wawa so he can have a Wawa sandwich.
Oh man, meatball sauce from Wawa. Ooh.
Which he thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, good for Jay. Is he still there or did he leave?
He is. You want to say hello?
Yeah, say hello to Jeremy.
Hey,
Jeremy.
Chaos.
Yeah. Come on in.
Jeremy's wearing he's Gunny. He's got his face mask on and his cucumbers on his eyes and shit. You know what I mean?
Hey, what's up, Chaos?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing down there, man?
Good. It's been an incredible week, man. It's been amazing. So much better the second year when you just know your way around and you know what to expect and everything. So
yeah,
it was great. It was great, and there was just so many surprises with the players. I just can't believe because just wasn't expecting it in certain positions. And, Dom sent me to one end the first day to look at the wide receivers, and it was just an explosion. It was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
There's going to be some second, third, fourth round guys that might not be day one impact, but have a chance to be really good in the league. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. So like your second year, you're more comfortable. You know the lay of the land. You know where things are happening. You know where to kind of kind of go, right? You know when the interviews are happening, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Like you're kind of running around the first year all confused. So you feel more comfortable down there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I was just more prepared this year, like more dedicated and committed because I spent like going in last year, I had no idea how to evaluate, and I never really put much thought into it. And this year, I spent different parts of this year like lots of time. Like just last week, Dom and I spent 2 hours together watching film, and I spent time with Tigo watching film, and I spent time with a few other people. And now coming down and looking at it live, like now I know when I'm looking at the offensive line what I want to see for the first time. I didn't know that a year ago. To look at, how did they come off to the line of scrimmage? Are they getting leverage right from the start? Are they able to balance and stay low and move forward? And are they locking hands and just
sounding like Dom right now, baby?
Yeah,
sounding like Dom right now.
Well,
He's going to scout school next year, Gunny. I can see it.
He's definitely training me. It's like but it's been great because it gives a whole new perspective because I'm looking at it from a whole nother, like way. So also what I don't know if Dom mentioned this, what's really helpful for me and what's really crazy and cool is when you're sitting in the bleachers with all these people, there's people that have tons of knowledge, right? And they're from all the other different content providers. There's scouts. There's all these different people. And I'm really good at this. I'm just a shadow. I'll sit down. I'll see that those older guys look like they know what they're doing. And I'll just kind of hear what they're saying and listen.
Absorb that knowledge.
So I'm listening to what they're saying about what they're seeing on the field, and I'm kind of putting it together and like, oh, wow, yeah, okay, now I know. And then I go to Dom and say, hey, this is what I heard. And he's saying, yeah, that's what I saw too. And like just making those connections. So I did a lot of that. I went and really started to say, you know what? I have no problem going over to people, introducing myself, start talking to them. I should take advantage of that and then pick their brains and get get knowledge from a lot of other people. And I did a lot more of that this year than last year, for sure.
That's so cool. That makes me happy, Jeremy. Matter of fact, makes me so happy. I'm going to throw this question to you. Bearded checking in. He says, do we target a versatile offensive lineman this year or dedicated right tackle? What do you see the Jets doing, maybe with your newfound scouting knowledge? How do you view this one?
Well, I think it might the guys I like, it might speak for itself. I mean, because I like Ozzy from Boston College, and he plays left tackle in college. He's played left tackle, and I want him for right tackle. And even in the scrimmages, everything he was doing, he was equally as good, whether it was from the left side or the right side. So I think that if you take the guy I want for right tackle, he is versatile and he has that capability. But also, this kid, Miles Frazier, everything they ask him to do, he's doing. So even though we thought of him as a right guard, he looked awesome as tackle on the one-on-ones today. So I don't know. Maybe it's him. Maybe he comes in and you look at him in AVT and you say, which one should play on the outside and which one should play on the inside, and you let them figure it out.
I like it. I think
like it a lot.
What's that? What do you say?
I like
Gunny?
it a lot. I like everything I'm hearing right now.
Yeah, that's a great question, Bearded. So what are your any final thoughts? Like, you want to tell us anything that you saw down there? Who's your riser, Jeremy?
Well, there's no question. I mean, Domsky probably mentioned it. Tez Johnson is going to be a problem in this league. I know he's small. I don't know if he's going to be able to handle the grind of playing every play. He might be a guy who comes in third down packages. I don't know, but I'm almost terrified. And I had a conversation with a few people, and we all agreed if he ends up in Kansas City, the league is in trouble. Like you don't want this kid to end up in Kansas City. But a big riser for me is the kid from Virginia, Jonas, the safety. Yeah, that's the riser for me. I think he's going to be special. I would love it if we picked him up in the mid rounds, and that would be like our safety. That would be great.
Yeah. Now he's talking about Sanker, everybody. Don actually mentioned him before. Every year I got a Virginia guy to talk about. So we'll be talking about him. Last year it was Malik Washington. Then there was Snowden. Remember my boy Snowden? He never did much in the NFL. So there's the tight ends. And every year I focus because I live right next to fucking UVA. I drive by it my wife works for UVA. So it's like we're
Oh, you mentioned tight ends outside of the big three, and I say the big three: Fannin, Loveland, and Warren. I really like Ferguson from Oregon this weekend.
Tom had a good interview with him too.
I saw that interview. Yeah.
So
Tom's interviews are great. Why don't we see your
really
face
are.
at all? Are you just filming, Jeremy?
you know what? It's like we just found our niche together. I'm the cameraman. I run I have no problem running right up to him.
He walks right in between agents, and he says, "Hey,
this is our
Ferguson,
time.
Get over here."
Well, my attitude is that if they're not talking to another media guy, my attitude is this is our time. We get limited time. So if they're talking to their agent or talking to a friend, I think that's bullshit. It's like, no, this is my time. They dedicated a very small percentage of time for us. So I don't mind it. I go right over and I whisper their name. And if they look over and they're willing to come to me, they're willing to come to me. And then it makes Dom's life easy, because then I just get behind the phone. I give him the thumbs up and he just starts doing his thing.
Yeah, it's good to have Jeremy around.
You have to have the chaos around. That's why they call him
chaos. You gotta have it. You gotta have somebody who's fearless. Just cut. Excuse me. Come here.
Move. Get out the way.
Come on. Here you go. And just put the interview together.
Funny story today. We went to the media session last night, so we got so many good. We literally checked off boxes on everyone that we wanted to talk to for the most part. And I told Jeremy, I said, after the first session today, there's one guy that I didn't get a chance to talk to, and it was the kid Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver from Iowa State. I said he's the one guy that I haven't yet that I started to watch. I haven't really gotten to talk to, so that's the only one I want. Let's go down there and let's see if we can hone him out. So he's down there now. It's Thursday, right? So all the families have come down. The Thursday practice, all the families are on the field. You got the 4 guys from Iowa State there with Matt Campbell, the Iowa State coach, all their agents, all their parents, and they're all sitting there talking and taking pictures. And Jeremy's like, "Hey, Higgins." I'm like, "Jeremy, leave him alone." I said, the fucking guy's with his mom, I said, "Just let it go. It's not, it's not the be all end all." He's like, No, get him.
You know how we got Peoples? Peoples was there and he was talking to like an agent or something. And he's like trying to stop me. Dom's like reaching out to me, but then the guy saw me, the agent. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. You want to talk to him? It's your time." So, which was exactly what I'm saying.
You're like, right.
And then Peoples looks at me like he's thinking about it, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I just want to find out if you're the guy. I just want to tell you, I think you might be the guy that should play next to Quinnen. We're here with the Jets." And he just smiled. He said, "Thank you, man." And I said, "Can we have a few minutes?" And then boom, that's how we got people.
All right. So see, dude, Jeremy's a fucking. we gotta
pitbull.
He's
a freaking pitbull, man.
He really is. Last year he got all brick twice.
I did.
That's great. I know. We gotta refine this role for Jeremy. We gotta really kind of hone in on this skill set thing.
I feel like I'm becoming like how Howard Stern had Stuttering John, who would do anything.
Totally. He would just walk up with that microphone. You gotta have that shtick. Remember those interviews were the best in the beginning, in the early days. Stuttering John was the shit.
Oh, when he asked Pete Rose if he ever farted in the catcher's face.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. All right, well, Jeremy, good to see you, buddy. You look great, by the way.
The beard looks awesome, man. I love the goatee.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. I'll see you guys, man. Gunny, we got to catch up sometime and hang out.
It's been too long, dog. It's been way too long.
Yep.
Yeah, hit me up.
All right, brother.
All right. We got a super chat here from Ron Weiss, my buddy. What's up, Ron? Good to see you. I love GreenBean doing a stint on Jake's show from Dawson's Creek today. Until GreenBean froze his goobelinis out. Let me show you what he's talking. It's dark out, but let me see if you can see it. So I'm on like the bay between like Delaware and Ocean City. Let's see if you can. I don't know if maybe you'll see the lights. It's winter, so. But I did the Jake show from out here. Can you see out there? Can you see like the lights? See those lights?
I see the lights. Yeah, I see the lights.
Yeah, that's Ocean City, Maryland. So I was out here, and there's all like water and stuff out. You can't really see
Creek,
it.
man.
You like a little dock? Can you see the dock? Nah.
Nah, I can't see the
Little
doc.
doc? Yeah. So I guess it's kind of like Dawson's Creek out here, I guess.
Talk
But
about a
anyway,
throwback TV show.
yeah, I know Dawson's Creek. Now we know
Dawson's
Ron
Creek.
used to watch that. That's what we know.
Yep, that's another thing, Ron.
Ron-
You just exposed
Ron
yourself.
just outed himself. And Goobellini, like, so Dom, you know what a Goobellini is, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's funny because people don't know. Gunny, do you know what a Goobellini is?
I do not know what a Goobellini is.
This is a Goobellini. So it's like you would call it a beanie or people,
Yeah,
winter hat, whatever.
a skull cap.
But in a skull cap in Italian families, like they would say, literally would say, like, it's cold out, wear your Goobellini. And that's just what it was. It's like, and it's funny, somebody said it on the show today, and Jake was like, what the fuck
I've
is
never
that?
heard that before. Goobellini. Okay.
Goobellini, yeah. So
I had a friend growing up. His name was is Mark Gonzalez. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you would think like Gonzalez, that sounds family was 100% Italian. Like I used to go over there all the time and hang out with the family. I mean, some of the best food I've ever had, Italian food in my life. His mom was awesome. She was a Giordano. But yeah, like I've never heard. I mean, I've heard her tell us when we were going outside to play, grab your skull caps. But Goobellini, all right, I like the sound of it.
You
though.
know
It
the good
sounds
food. Like Dom's mom makes every time Dom has pasta, it's fresh made pasta.
yeah.
Think about that.
Yep. That was Mrs. Giordano or Miss maiden name was Giordano. So it's Mrs. Gonzalez.
All right. Blitz crew check. You guys see the video of JJ on the treadmill? I didn't see that.
Yeah. I saw it earlier. He looks
How'd he
good.
look?
He looks really good. Like again, it looks great now until you of course put the pads on and you see what it looks like on, you know what I'm saying, on game days, right? But he looks like he trusts his Achilles repair with no questions asked. He was getting it. And that's what you want to see. He looks comfortable. He looks like he's got his burst. Like he looks like he's ready to go ahead and make a statement.
Did you see when they announced Steve Wilks? I saw a comment from
he was
JJ
pumped. Yeah.
with the salute.
Yeah, he was
He
pumped.
just put the salute emoji. I love it, man. JJ's like, dude, let's do it. I'm ready. I don't give a shit. Everybody, look, I'm sure they loved Salah and loved all. I don't doubt it for a second.
100%.
But everybody can also see they've completely lost control of this ship.
That's facts.
We're sinking here, and we need a new captain. Tampa Jets fan. Tampa Pete Hot Sauce checking in. We need two things, Dom C, tutorial scouting video and a Bucky's review from Germany. Well, you're not going to get part 2 of that because Dom he drove right by it. Jeremy could see it.
That's true.
I know.
That's
Jeremy
not
was
true.
like, please. Dom said, no, we're running 3 minutes behind schedule. No.
We saw a Bucky's. We were on a highway, and we saw a Bucky's like way past in the distance, like on like 14 other highways that need to get there. I said, Jeremy, we already passed it. I'm not going. That's it.
That's it. The decision's been made. We'll go to Wawa. Suck it up.
He was happy with that, though.
Yeah, Wawa is good. Wawa's a win. Great compromise.
So Dom, he wants you to maybe you do something like that. Maybe you do some tutorials on just some basic things like, 101 stuff that a lot of guys don't know. Like Jeremy just mentioned the leverage thing. Like I talk about all the time, ass, feet, and hands, right? Like that kind of stuff. And like, what are we looking for? Like, we watch, you hear it all the time. We watch the tape. And, funny because people were saying that before anybody had access to tape. What you're really watching is a game. You know what I mean? Like you're watching a broadcast, but that's all we had for a while. So we whatever. But like when you're watching it, what are you looking for? One of the hardest things to do that I still have difficulty with it is watching off ball. Like if you're watching actual game tape, even if you're trying to focus on a player, not watching the ball is fucking hard. It's hard. If I'm not focused, I'll be there to watch the defensive tackle, and I'm just looking at the wide receiver running back. I'm just watching them just like I'm watching a football game. I got to catch myself all the time. But that would be neat, Dom. Any thought of kind of doing stuff like that?
I never thought about it. I mean, I'd be happy to. I mean, I listen. I'm just another student in the game. I'm nothing special do it. So, and it's funny you talked about that watching the off-ball stuff, because I find that the further you are in alignment from the ball, the harder it is to really grade and scout and watch. Like, I have trouble with safeties because they're not involved in the plays. When you watch them and you watch them break and flip their hips or like trigger downhill or something like that, that's easy. But when they're just away from the play in coverage, trying to determine if they're in the right spot, or trying to study their movements when they're moving at like a quarter speed, isn't really ideal for me. So linebackers and safeties are always my hardest evals.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, but Tampa, I tell you, it's a fun thing to do. You know who's really good? Let me recommend something to you. If you want a kind of like an easy on-ramp into that world. Oh man, I'm just forgetting. What's the guy from Moving the Chains? His name just fell out of my head.
Bob Papa?
No, the other guy.
I know who you're talking about. I'm having a brain fart.
Hold on, I cannot believe he was our director of player personnel for a while. He was with the Jets for a long time. It's the best show. It's the best football show, period, in my opinion. Pat Kerwin. That's who it is.
That's his name, yeah.
Get the Pat Kerwin book. Let me tell you what it's called. He made a part 2, which I never read, but the first one was great. Let me see. Take your eye off the ball. That's where it's funny. That's where I learned the term years ago. But if Tampa Pete, I can't stop. Tampa Jets fan, if you want like a good intro to that world, get the book. Take your eye off the ball from Pat Kerwin. It's an easy read too. It's like it's so well written. It reads like you're reading just like a novel, like a story or something like that.
It's actually a book. It's actually a book that we had to read during scout school.
Really?
Yep.
The first one or 2.0?
The first one was required, and they recommended 2.0. They also recommended, there's another one written by Steve Belichick, as a matter of fact. But man, it is such a hard read because it gets super, super nuanced. So, it's an easy one to kind of just, you look for 10 minutes later, you're staring at the same 2 paragraphs. So it's like, what the hell am I, what am I reading?
Yeah. So, it's like reading the manual for the innards of a microwave,
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, that's a great book to read, guys. If you have any interest in this stuff, if again, you're just getting started, you're interested, get the book by Pat Kerwin, Take Your Eye Off the Ball. What year was that? Let me see it's been around for a while, man. I read it I was still in Florida when I read that.
2010.
Yeah, so it came out. That's why I was still excited about football. That was the 2010 Jets year. I was all sucking in everything I could. I was passionately watching and listening to radio because we were good. It sucks listening to sports radio when the Jets suck. Which is why I'm glad Buffalo lost, because I didn't want to deal with 2 weeks of how great Buffalo is and how great Josh Allen is. I hate the Chiefs, but I
hate the Bills more.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, there was no way.
Ron White checking. What's that?
The lesser of two evils. Perfect way of putting it.
Yeah, lesser of two evils. Ron White's checking back in. He says, like Michelle Williams and Katie Holmes were not worth the watch. Yeah, okay. Defend Dawson's Creek all you want, Ron. The eye candy wears off after a few minutes. And then you were enthralled with the dramatic stories of high school life for the cute boys and girls of Dawson's Creek.
You're not fooling us, Ron. You're not fooling us. We know.
It's okay, buddy. I watched Melrose Place, so it's fine. Remember that Melrose Place and all that shit?
Remember Melrose Place.
But anyway, let's end.
I was a big Baywatch guy.
You were Baywatch made a whole bunch of
Baywatch guy. Yeah.
You know who my favorite was Nicole Eggert. Nicole Eggert on Baywatch. She was from Charles in Charge. Mm-hmm. I fell in love with her on Charles in Charge, and then she went to Baywatch, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is my dream come true."
Perfect. This is great.
So let's end the poll here. I asked you guys what you thought about the hiring of our new defensive coordinator, the well-traveled Steve Wilks. 61% said they love it, guy. That's pretty convincing. 35% said meh, and a measly 3% said it sucks. So there are still folks out there they don't really like it, and I think this is one of those. I get it. If you don't like it, I do get it. Somebody who's kind of a 1 year here, 1 year there, 1 year. Yeah, like we just want somebody that's going to be good and going to stay here and turn things around, help turn things around. So I do understand that, but I got to be honest. He's a solid, well-respected defensive coordinator in the league. Like you kind of know what you're getting. And if we compare that with a good offense, a 21st century offense for a change, we might just have something. If Aaron Glenn is the leader that he looks like he has the potential to be, and you know what, guys, it really took me by surprise. But Aaron Glenn's press conference, everybody's talking about the comment, we're the freaking New York Jets and we're made for this shit. That's great. But I was really taken with his 1998 Denver Broncos championship game comment. Yep. He said, I want that one back.
Yep.
And that said, he's arriving. He's had 20-something years of resentment that he's never let go of. That makes me happy. He's coming.
He's one of us.
He's
one of us. Sad. That makes me sad. He's been towing that shit along all this time.
I got him ruining every day. He's done quite well. But it's been humming right here, Dom. It's been buzzing. Every day.
The one that got away.
The one that got away. Yeah. I like that in his press conference. He said, in 1998, he's like, he went through the whole thing. He started, we were up 10-0 in the first half and at halftime, and then we kicked the ball off and it just stayed in the air and the whole thing. He said the game just went to hell or whatever he said.
Yep.
Hey, I want it back. So that's good. But, guys, listen, we got to end this one a little bit early tonight, 9:15. I want to remind everybody about the great offer from the one and only BetUS, everybody. 150% discount bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. All you got to do is use the promo code YouTube150. When you go to America's favorite sports book, BetUS, that will also get you a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits. And even when football's over, which is coming around the pike, that does not mean that BetUS is over. We have everything from basketball to hockey to Major League Baseball to darts to swimming to politics. It's all on there. You can place wagers on all this stuff. And you might as well take advantage of that amazing deal, the bonus of 150%. YouTube 150 is the way to do it. I thank BetUS. Dom and Gunny, what do you got going on, man? Is anything coming up, Dom? Well, you're in Mobile till tomorrow. What's on the
I'm in Mobile till tomorrow. Still got to get through today's film and kind of break that down and make some notes and just kind of use that as my rewatch and teach tape for some guys. So it's kind of boring, but listen, man, I've dedicated myself this week to really putting forth as much content as I can, draft related, for the Jets community. And that's really going to be my focus going forward from this point until draft time, is to try to be that source, that one-stop shop that you guys in the Jets community have for anything draft related. So, there will probably be some stuff happen on my channel. It's not going to be priority for me. I'm kind of shifting the focus to more of a wider lens and in the draft content stuff. So,
yeah, there you go. Well, guys, look, Dom Prospect. All right, slow down. Project Prospect with Dom C. The link is right in the description of this video. Look, there's nowhere better. And Dom C's just getting started, man. This is his season. And if you want to learn, if you're interested in this stuff, especially as it pertains to New York Jets, there's no better place to go. And you can follow Dom on Twitter as well, DC_New York Jets. Link in the description of the video as well. Gunny, what's cooking for you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, as always, we got the hangout on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. We go ahead and chop it up. We talk about the New York, 8 p.m. Central. We talk about the Jets and the hot topics of the week. I'm also looking forward to doing my commercial grading out the coaching staff. Right, once we finalize our offensive coordinator, we get this solidified. I want to do a little video on grading out the coaching staff. I've started it a little bit, but can't really quite finish it until we get that offensive coordinator officially announced. Even though I do believe we've got our guy, but yeah, just keep an eye out for that. But definitely catch me on Tuesday nights on the channel and come hang out at the hangar.
And just like I said for Dom, the link to Gunny's YouTube page and his Twitter are in the top of the description of the video, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe right here on this channel as well. And thanks again to the great BetUS. With that all said, have a great night, everybody. We will see you next time. Thanks, Cuca Lake. Sorry about that. Yes, Yasmin Bleeth was hot as hell. You're right, buddy. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.